Welcome to Watch Us Cooking, and today's recipe will be kimbap. Kimbap is one of my favorite recipes that I've ever made, so I hope you love it. Let's get started. Right now, in kimbap, we usually use a lot of cucumbers, so I'm going to show you how you use it. You have to cut off the tips of each end. Then you're going to want to try and cut it in half as best as you can. You might need to go twice to get it full. And now I'm gonna cut it in half again. And there you go. Now I'm gonna take off the seeds. Like that. And this one is a bit thick, so I'll cut it in half again. For those of you who don't know, kimbap is Korean sushi, and it is really one of my favorite foods ever. So now you're gonna want to cut off all the seeds of all of them and cut them in half like this. I'm gonna use about 2 cucumbers today. And once you've cut them in half, we're gonna move on to our next step. Now that I've cut up all my cucumbers, we're gonna salt them really well. Like, I mean a lot of salt. Because we need to get all of the water from the cucumbers out of it. Like, I'm talking about 10 or more grams of salt. Like, look how much I'm putting. So then you're gonna wanna put a lot, and then you're gonna wanna mix it up really well. And then you're gonna leave it for 15 to 10 minutes, 10 to 15 minutes. And then once the liquid is all released, you're gonna wanna rinse off all the salt. Like this, you need to really rub it in, all the salt. And then as the liquid releases, you see it's becoming more flexible by the minute. Little more salt for good luck. Now, we need to let this sit for about 10 minutes. Now we're gonna worry about our carrots. We're gonna need to chop off both ends, and we're gonna peel it all. Peel off all the skin. With the carrots, we're gonna actually need to saute them. So, the way we're gonna cut our carrots is we're gonna cut them in very thin strips. Like, I mean, super tiny, like matchsticks. And there we go, a peeled carrot. Now to cut our carrots, we're gonna start like this, going by the edge like this. You're gonna wanna try and keep it as thin as possible, but that is quite hard. So you need to focus it really well. And then, once we've got some strips like this, we're gonna lay it out, and we're just gonna cut along like lengthwise. And there we go. Thin matchsticks for our kimbap. Now I'm also going to use 2 carrots. So repeat this process for all your carrots. I've got a hot pan with a lot of sesame oil, and we're going to saute our beautifully cut matchstick carrots in this for about 2 to 3 minutes. They're going to shrink in size a lot. So also keep this bowl, because we're going to put the sauteed carrots back in here. Now we're going to add a lot of salt. Not too much though, just a little dab. Now we're going to mix it all well together. The smell is just amazing. I'm going to turn down the heat just a tad bit. And it can be ready earlier, of course, like a minute, just so it's not too crunchy. Like, I'm gonna leave this on low heat for about a minute, and then I'll put it back in our bowl. Now you can see that our carrots are softer, but they're still a bit firm. And you can see this starting to become ready when you see this like orange residue. I added a little bit more salt to help with the sauteing process, but I'm pretty sure they're ready. The way is softer, and look how much they shrunk. But they're still nice and firm, which is what we want. So I'm gonna leave this for a little bit more, and I'm gonna take them off, okay? As you can see, our cucumbers are malleable. So when they're malleable and you see there's like a little residue of liquid right here, you know they're ready. So I'm gonna rinse them with water and put them back in the same bowl. Now to one of the stars of the show, Korean pickled yellow radish. This tastes super good in the kimbap. So how I'm gonna cut it open is because this is vacuum sealed, I'm gonna try and push the radish down to the end. Then I'm gonna cut it open here on the top so that we can reuse this packaging for storage. And as you can see, it has a lot of juice to it. So you don't want to lose that juice because it keeps it like, it doesn't make it go bad. So now you can see it's really good. Now we're gonna cut it. Now I'm gonna grab our radish and I'm gonna cut it lengthwise, like strips lengthwise like this. It's quite a big radish, so it's quite hard. Like this. Now I'm gonna cut this piece into strips. Because they're a little bit thinner, I'm gonna put 2 of them in each roll. But once you get more to the core, you can just put 1. I'm gonna make multiple rolls today of kimbap, so I'm gonna cut a lot more. Just like so, and then cut it into strips. Tip, store it in a bowl, and then you can just need to grab all the middles and then lay it like this, like so. And then it's really easy because then you can just get 1 piece at a time. And also it helps to keep it more flexible. For the eggs, I'm going to use about 5 eggs today. If needed, I'll make some more. I'm going to add a nice dash of sugar, a little more, some salt, and a hefty dash of mirin. Mirin is a type of sake that is a bit sweeter and has a higher content of alcohol, 14%. So I'm gonna add a nice dash to that, and we're gonna mix really, really well. Because the omelette, in my opinion, tastes super good and it's really delicious. I could eat so many of these omelettes. And now we're gonna fry it, but make sure to fry it on the same pan. For the omelette, it's very specific. So I'm gonna use the same pan as the carrots because it already has some sesame oil and it will give a little bit extra flavor. I'm gonna put a very thin layer, but like very thin. And then I'm gonna let it cook. Once it's fully cooked, I'm gonna fold it up. It's very similar to the Japanese omelette. As you can see, it's already pretty cooked, so I'm gonna loosen the edges. I'm doing it on low medium heat. I'm gonna let it cook for a little bit more, then I will show you how to fold it. Now that it's mostly cooked like this, I'm gonna start to fold it. You need to be very delicate when folding it because it can break at any second. Trust me, it can break at any second. So you're gonna wanna try and scrape it and fold it. If it breaks on the sides, it's fine, but it's not preferred. And now I'm going to keep on folding it. If you see there's a part that's sticking, I'm going to put more sesame oil. And now I'm going to grab a spatula and move this to the other side right here. And now I'm going to lower the heat, add some more sesame oil, spread it around, and I'm going to add some more egg to continue the omelette. Maybe make this time a bit thicker, the layer. Now we're going to repeat this process of folding it, adding more, until our egg mixture is done. Now my omelette is definitely not the prettiest one, but it's super hard to make it like this. Hence failed part right here. Anyway, I'm going to cut it into strips like this. I'm trying not to break the structural integrity of the omelette because it's super hard. I'll do it very gently. And yeah, that's it. Cut into very small strips like this. And yeah, now we can start to building our kimbap. I've got our rice now. Now I'm gonna mix it really well with some sesame oil. Now we're gonna make some small cuts like this. And now we need to mix it all in really well together so that the sesame oil is in every little part. If need to, you can put your rice in the microwave for like 30 seconds to make it a bit softer and easier to work with. But once you start getting the hang of it, it's pretty easy. If need to, add more sesame oil. Now I've got our seaweed. Now it's finally time to make our kimbap. Oh, remember to keep a bowl of wet or water to wet your hands. And I'm gonna start to slowly add some rice here and spread it out evenly. Make sure to have like a nice and thin layer, but not too thick and not too thin. Like a nice medium, because it's kind of like sushi, but it has way more fillings. So you need to leave a lot of space for that. Make sure to go to all the edges, and you want to leave like a little line here to leave, so then you can roll it up and make it nice and tight. Like so. Now we're going to put our ingredients on. Now we're going to put the pickled radish. If there's any extra parts, you just cut it off like so. So then if you have a shorter piece, you can add these little pieces on. Now our cucumber. And try to keep it all bundled together at the edge. Now our carrots. I'm going to make sure that they all are facing straight like this for our carrots. Try to get everything on here. Keep it as close as possible. And finally, our egg. Now we're going to roll it up super tight. Now I'm going to use my hands and put a thin layer of water. If you want, you can also smear some rice as well to keep it extra sealed. And I'm going to use a sushi mat to try and get everything really nice and rolled up. Like so. And here's our final product, our kimbap. I'm going to cut it up. When you cut it up, make sure you use a serrated knife, because this knife that you see, it's just like not serrated, it will ruin the kimbap. Now that our kimbap is nice and rolled up, when you're going to cut it, you're going to cut it nice and slowly, like this, with a serrated knife. You're going to go nice and slow, because if you go fast, it might work, but then the seaweed will get ripped. And we do not want that. Look how beautiful this is. Look at that cross section. Let's give it a taste. Look how beautiful this kimbap is. Look at that cross section, the carrots. Wait, the carrots, the pickled radish, the cucumber, the egg. Let's give it a taste and rate it 1 through 10. This is very, very good. I'm gonna give this a solid 10 out of 10. It's so good. But doesn't that cross section just look beautiful? Anyway, thanks for watching. I hope you really enjoyed this video today. And I'll see you next time. Bye!